Hello and welcome to a little bit of me playing Victoria 3, finishing off my game as Persia. And it appears I've decided to keep the game paused forever. Yeah, that sounds about right. Thanks. Yeah. So, well, what am I doing? Step 1. War with Russia. Yeah, that's where we left off. Right, I remember. Yeah, I was preparing to fight Russia. They wanted some bits in Cockland. I wanted some other places here and there. So I managed to grab a few of my war goals immediately, but I made the mistake of making those not my primary war goal. Which meant I didn't get ticking war score below 0, and they did because yeah, they were able to take their primary objective, even though in reality I don't think we should have given up like Cockland, because even though they had Cockland, because yeah, we were doing much better in the war, especially because we had friends and all kinds of other stuff going on. But you know what, if that's what the Russians wanted, that's what they'll get, I guess. Yeah, so this is just me. So yeah, number 12, not bad actually, considering. And yeah, we have our little vassal swarm there, and I'm just figuring some stuff out as things explode in the background. Yeah, so I'm just doing my thing. Lots of munitions plants, lots of this, that, and the other. Upgrading my military, modernizing it, and yeah, technology was a bit weird in this game. I have felt it slow down a lot, and I didn't even get close to maxing like level 3s and level 4s in some of these places, and lots of stuff I could have done better. Definitely should have focused more on my military, even though it almost bankrupted me to have them and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely not a good example of late game. To be fair, this is like one of the only times I've managed to reach late game, so this is by far and away the part of the game where I'm looking at this like, what the hell am I meant to be doing here? And as it turns out, what the hell I was meant to be doing was getting myself ready for a massive attritional defensive war against Russia. And maybe not exempting all my vassals from service, because their armies, as bad as they would have been helpful, and maybe a bit of upgrading my vassals as well. Maybe just a little bit they could have benefited from, yeah. But yeah, I got some fun stuff off, and I definitely had a good try at some stuff. So military reorganization, figuring things out that side. I actually did max out a bunch of things, got some technologies. Like, you just kind of, I don't know, late game Persia is weird. Because you are not railroaded, but Russia exists, and they aren't gonna like you, especially if you become a major power. So like, you do have to fight them, and the British are not a fan of me. I should have been using my Diplo power to rival people and grab an alliance with Qing, with France, with anyone who would be my ally. I could have vassalized the Ottomans as well. The sick man of Europe, as they've been cut to pieces by me. But I could have gotten away with a vassalization on them, I suspect, especially during my truce with Russia, because no one else would have really gotten involved. Maybe Egypt would, but they were my ally at the time. So like, oh no, I just stopped allying with them. But they were still friendly with me, so even if they did, I probably would have beat them both. And that would have given me some pretty significant stuff. But like, no, I decided not to do that for some reason. I also, I don't know why I yawn every time I do this. I seem to be slightly too tired, so I end up yawning. But like, I could have built more of a navy. I could have improved my vassals a lot more than I had. Honestly, I would say I was running out of pops. I really wasn't. Like, I had a lot of automation technology, and as Persia, eventually Iran, I think the game renames me at some point for some reason. I take a decision, probably my bad. But like, as Persia, you kind of have this thing where you can kind of just be like, Yeah. I have all the automation technology because you have access to every major resource. Except rubber. The rubber's the only one you don't have. That's why I grabbed Zanzibar right at the end of, at some point. I grabbed Zanzibar and I had a bunch of rubber as well if I wanted. And yeah, this is where my mistakes came in with all of these exempt services. Like, it really does lower their independence. But yeah, this is where I'm figuring things out, like becoming a power block. Yeah, let's go. I have a power block. And yeah, I've got a power block. Let's go. And I need to go close the door. Let's go. The door is closed. Random people will not just walk into the room while I'm in the middle of recording. Let's go. Yeah, Amazon. I genuinely do not know why it's called the Amazon Pact. I think I just did it. I was too excited because I saw the button and I could create it. And I was like, yes, let us create it. And I did no customization, only to realize I'm now the Amazon Pact, a religious... Oh, and this is where the game renamed me to Iran. Ah, so it's probably when I became a great power and created my power block when the game renamed me from Persia to Iran. For whatever reason. Who cares? I did what I wanted to, which was, well, I wanted to complete the Eastern Frontier. So I need to do that again. So I'm gonna come back eventually one day in the distant future, and I will be like, yo, the game has changed so much, but I really do enjoy this region. You start off with so many good... I can play a Russian vassal game where I willingly vassalize myself to Russia and liberalize and economize and steal their population. Yeah. But yeah, I can do that. I built the power block statues to try and get my prestige up and all that stuff. But like, honestly, at this point, it's like, I have many decisions I wanted to expand more into the Arabian Peninsula and across North Africa, which I just absolutely didn't have the ability to do because I had Russia breathing down my neck, and I could have done that actually. Now I think about it, but again, it's like I'm not playing optimally. I'm not doing the Eternal War. I currently have 5,000 lack of convoys of 5,000. I assume that's because of my military being overseas, which yeah is not fun. But I think if I'd done some stuff, I could have done some more things if I had kept But yeah, also becoming a major power did change my vassals up a lot, and it did annoy them a bit, which was unfortunate. But hey, we're getting there, and I dropped all kinds of other stuff, and income wise I was doing really well. Exempting service is not great is the conclusion I've come up with now, because what I can do is try and encourage my vassals to become military states actually. Ooh. Could that even... Fascinating. Maybe try and have a military vassal. You could have some focused vassals or some focused areas for different interest groups. Like just having a region that's entirely focused on, everyone in the state is military. It's kind of cool for later game, I think. But yeah. There's so much I could do. With Iran, with Iran, and now with Persia, Iran, whatever, 16 mil is a huge amount of population, actually, as it turns out. And I find that out towards the later of the game. You can do a lot with that much. But the gap between that and, say, Great Qing is insane. Just absolutely absurd, the difference in population. So there's a lot I can do and a lot I'm interested in, and this region was fantastic fun, and I'm just expanding. I'm messing around with the power block mechanics instead of just straight up vassalizing people now, which I don't think is kind of worth it. I think making them vassals is just better than putting them into my power block. But then my power block isn't that kind of a power block because I'm gone religious. So it, it allows me to force people to convert to my religion, and it eventually, if I continued developing properly and not squandering my income on construction sectors and instead built enough of a military that I could fight Russia, things would have turned out differently. And yeah, if I'd focused I was focusing on modern medicine, it was okay. I think it was a bad idea. Now, in hindsight, there's another technology there that would have given me 5 defense per unit and like 5% kill rate, like machine gun defenses or something, and I absolutely 100% needed that. Like, absolutely, that would have massively changed the outcome of the next 2 wars if I'd gotten that technology earlier. And that's something I now know. Late game, your military techs really matter if you are playing literally any nation to fight other great powers, like Russia, or China, or France, or Britain, or whoever else is around here. Austro-Hungary, Prussia, all of them you will have huge amounts to deal with. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff to do and some great things to manage and so much to focus on. Like, yeah, I think next time I'm gonna play something differently. But this one, yeah, you want to focus on, well, crushing your vassals' revolts for one, and just maybe stabilizing my vassals a bit more. I wasn't really doing that, which could have been a mistake. Like forcing my vassals to change their laws more in line with mine, or just to make their pops happier. Adjusting some prices and stuff for them, figuring out what their issues are and helping them solve it slightly. Like, I was at the state where I could have very easily fixed up a lot of things. And maybe that was the problem. I was focusing a bit too much on myself, but who knows? Because I'm not that good, but I'll figure it out, you know? And when I do, it'll be great. And I shouldn't press that button. But yeah, no, it is all going well. This went exceptionally well, especially for... I've played Persia a few times before this version, and it's ended much worse than... This is one of my best runs so far. Just out of any game, it's exceptional. And I want to play more. Because yeah, it is good. It's got a lot going for it. And yeah, I had a lot of construction. I focused on the wrong things in the late game, basically. I kind of just got sidetracked, doing my own thing, chilling, thinking this was the earlier in the game. Earlier in the game, I was completely fine because I had France as an ally. I had Russia being terrified of me and being fairly, relatively speaking, in not a great state. But now, at this point of the game, is different. And things were definitely not the best, militarily speaking. Economically, I was going absolutely ham on everyone. But bloody hell, France, also just invading everywhere. Thanks, France. I heard you like to invade the world, and so you did. Like, they just annexed everything, which is also a completely valid, I guess, strategy, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, like, yeah, this was fantastic. You do want to focus on, like, playing politics a bit more and finding some allies against Russia. Always. Like, I should have continued doing all of this stuff. This stuff is fine, technically, but floating 300 diplo power at this stage of the game, when I can improve relations with China, with Britain, even with, you know, Prussia, with anyone who rivals Russia would be a good shout, because even, yeah, naturally all the great powers are also falling into their rivalries at this stage, where they're all gonna start fighting as well, getting ready for the Great War. They'll have all the technologies for the Great War coming up as well, and like trench warfare. They'll eventually get ready to fight each other for power over the world, and I should have gotten more involved as one of them. And yeah, like, yeah, there's a revolt coming in from the Ottomans. I could have used that to my advantage. And my vassals are having revolts. Yay! Although I don't remember communism happening in this game. That's disappointing. I didn't see any communism stuff. And yep, this is the Russian war that that just hit at entirely the wrong time. But this was me being like, cool, France can have Oman in exchange. Please save me, France. To which France said, yeah, got your back. They did not have my back. Actually, yeah, they didn't, because they absolutely misplayed the war. Basically. We'll explain when we get to it, because this is where I am a bit upset I couldn't ask my allies to do stuff on my behalf. Because if I were my way, what I would have done is I would have moved the French army onto the Coquelin front, and I would have left the actual front into my nation defensive, and had them expand from Coquelin outward, because that was a much smaller, as long as I had that, I wouldn't have had an issue. But the French did decide to bolster the front that did not need bolstering, really. Sure, we won it, but we lost the primary war goal because of it, and well, it took me far too long to. And yeah, me moving to the other front, I have no idea what the hell they would do. So stuff goes on, it happens. I did misplay it as well myself, but yeah, there's not much, because I needed that front, and yeah, reorganizing fronts is never fun. Especially when they're on opposite corners. Yeah, again, if I had my vassals here, and they could have done stuff, they would have been helpful. Having my vassals around without exempted service, Russia could have moved deeper into my nation and united the fronts a bit better. I was trying to snake my way up and around while the French army did whatever they were doing to get that. And honestly, I think I could have done that. And yeah, this is where the second front reopens. This is where I would have said, yeah, France, I see you have 23 troops there. We do not need your 23 troops there. Can you please send them, off to delete that 44 that have 50% power? Because if I move the 60 troops I moved there away. Yeah, and also Britain was technically involved, but although I don't think they did a single thing other than try to naval invade me the entire time, which was hilarious. And yeah, so this is where I'm like, okay, cool, you guys have that dealt with? Sure, okay, I'll go and do some stuff with these. So I started doing that so I wouldn't, capitulate to the war goal. The game just decided you're not allowed to take the land back, and I capitulated. Which was incredibly disappointing and sad. Because, yeah, I could have won that war very easily if I'd played it differently. Sad. Very sad. But you know what? It's fine, I guess. I don't know. This is where things started chilling again, because we had the massive peace with Russia. As you do after you go to war with someone, you're like, cool, we chilling now. To which we proceeded to chill. It was great. Love it when you proceed to just chill. Yeah. So we were chilling, we were at war with the British, but I did not care. So I went back to building, I went back to constructing, and having learned nothing from this, I did not build any military stuff. I did not continue developing my military in any way. And it was in this moment that I knew I had messed up spectacularly. So I go and not do the thing I need to do. Not doing the thing I need to do has led to this moment right here, where I will lose the game now, inevitably, in the next 10 minutes. It's fine, it's all good. We kind of just run around now doing our own thing. I do have a bit of a deficit, more than I would have liked, to be fair, at this stage. I should have definitely worked on it a bit better and gotten myself a bit more positive like this. But hey, that's fine, right? I can just chill with it. I actually built up my navy now, and now I'm looking at technology and I'm like, cool, I need nitrogen fixing, I need stuff like this, that, and the other. And yeah, no, especially with the grain. Grain was a massive issue for the entire game, I will be honest. And I have no idea how to fix that other than, groceries. But even then, groceries wasn't great. I could have maybe gone with meat as well, and maybe vacuum canning would have been a good idea. I do have oil, so vacuum canneries were definitely an option at all stages of the game. There's so many technologies, and you've got to like focus and choose. But I went to Glassworks and stuff because I wanted that upgraded cost. The upgraded group steel frame buildings. That's the one. Maybe not the best idea, but you know what? It is what it is. I made my decision, so started building a bunch of those. Realized I was overproducing ceramics, so I just adjusted the tech for that. What do you call it? The production method, yes, to not have as many ceramics built. I stopped overbuilding the oil, because I felt like, I'm at the point where oil's a good idea, right? It wasn't really, but no, I'm at almost 13 sol now, which is very decent, I would think. And the acquisition of the Netherlands. I forgot I did this. Yeah, I acquired the Netherlands from France, who are a vassal of France. I grabbed them up because how do you put it? I could, I took it in the war, in the French Civil War. This was a bad war. I do not know why the French decided this was a good idea. The problem for me was, after this happened, our alliance broke, yada yada yada, things went badly. Very badly. And now that I look at that, Austria-Hungary probably would have allied me. They would have been a fantastic ally against the Russians. And if I had gone for multilateral alliances, which I should have, I could have got a Great Qing as well. Basically, what I'm saying is, play politics in the politics game. Yeah, if I had gone for the politicking route, even if I was chilling by myself, I would have had a much better shot at everything. And eventually I capitulated out of that because they didn't have any war goals on me, thankfully. And I didn't want to lose every bit of my military and my population just to defend like a few inches of Parisian soil. And yeah, furniture, and then there was a slight bug with my trading, which I just ignored. At this point, I had kind of checked out a little, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to win the next war against Russia. I could have potentially done that, but I think at this point, I was like, it's not fun. I kind of just lost my fun at this stage, and it was more just me figuring things out, learning things, shuffling leaders around and everything. We definitely had like a really good early and mid game. This late game I kind of messed up significantly, to the point where I'm just like, yeah, let's not do that again. Indeed. And that's what I did. I kind of chilled, and I kind of like, I tried out some other stuff. I did the decisions. I decided not to go for skyscrapers this time, which, yeah, skyscrapers is a bit of a weird one. I feel like it is more of a waste of time than anything for me. But then again, I am at the point where I'm like, well, I literally am chugging the game along because my hardware has decided it is ancient and it just won't function. But like, yeah, no, this is all good. Like, you just gotta build up more of a military than I did, and you can generally fight Russia 1v1 at this stage. Take a bunch of that land, build it up, or just, they'll migrate into your useful states if there are jobs in need, and you will get so much more. If you liberalized, things would be different, but even running this kind of religious, I would have gone for single party, to be fair. If I could have, I would have gone single party state. But yeah, there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot I could have done better. I could have focused more on my navy, expanded outwards in that way as well, and vassalized a bunch more people. Especially like when you become a great power, you can rival the ones that you don't like. Like completely rival them and make some alliances and absolutely crush them. Because great powers are like that. It becomes a very different game. Like you get to have the yeah. Like you have a lot more resources available to you. You have a lot more available to you in general. Your military is better. You can build up a massive navy. Like I could have built up a navy earlier in the game as well, and that would have boosted my prestige so insanely high. I'm not sure why navies seem to just massively boost your prestige just for the sheer act of existing, even if they're not the most practical. But you know what? It's like that sometimes. But yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of inevitably waiting to be crushed by the Russians. And then the war starts, and I'm like, I have no allies. I've got to do this by myself. So let's adjust my my military, and conscript people, and it just goes. Like again, I misplayed this. I thought I could build the statues I wanted before ending the war. I could not. But like, you know what? Fun learning experience. Late game is hard. Mistakes were made, and I should have prepped better in the mid game for this. It's a balancing act. And yeah, no, 13 was not bad, and the other front I was actually winning for a while. Which, honestly, even at this stage, I was surprised I survived for as long as I did in the war. Like, yeah, if I hadn't built the statues, or the power plants, sorry, and I had just gone, you know what? We're going straight for the massive upgrade to our military. I could have done a lot more. I probably would have lost a bunch of pops. I'm almost at 20 mil as well. Like, that's a lot of people. And at this stage, it's, yeah, I'm just going to let this carry out to the end. But, like, yeah, this massive mistake. But I made everything. I did everything else well. And I started industrializing, started building power plants, started, you know, fixing my grain issues, probably build more granaries. I went for the, the steel one, the steel company at some point, and they were doing great as well. And yeah, that's me done. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.